short video talking about the videos that I'm streaming across the August time frame. I'm going through a lot of stress. It's Mars ruled stress, right? We can talk about my Martian influence and how that, well, Mars is doing what I think is a beneficial slowdown because it squares Saturn, and also Venus is going to be squaring Mars too, with it squaring Saturn. But the bottom line, this is looking like, to me, it's just funky. It's a funky time. It's bringing up some funky stuff. We're all being really careful right now to not fall into patterns that spell doom for a lot of us, let's say generationally, because of that Pluto uh, thing over there where it's testing us all. It's definitely a time of testing, not just for, say, the Aries people. I speak for the Mars, who is being tested. See, it's a good thing that, see, Mars in Gemini is very scattered. It can have a trouble with physically manifesting, their endeavors, because it could be a lot too mental. They are the Mars in Gemini. It's Mercury ruled, and we do have a strong Mercury ruled Mars right now, and it's blown up with the Jupiter, which it's spelling. It does exaggerate the sexuality issues, but it's not issues because it can. It's a. It takes swift, like really a beneficial action. So it's but in Gemini we need the temperance, is what I'm saying, from Saturn over there probably, and it's going to be interesting, really. It's just a kind of a sobering time, I think, especially if we look at the mutable factor, which is the Gemini, Virgo, happening. Square Mars, Mercury there too is in Virgo, which is helping with being able to see some of this stuff. You have to honor some of these crazy people that can start to articulate or do anything of the detail required to start to illuminate, or bring into the power to be able to solve problems through getting into the details anyways, boy. So because I wanted to mention how Neptune in Pisces is a very big factor, because it is mutable. It has to do with this mutable square, and I picture the mutable squares as being, of course, it's a wheel, but what kind of wheel is it? It's one that, see, because it's mutable, it's very changeable, and it can very much start to be gear-like, perhaps. It's like a gear, very mental, of course, and then we have the higher octave of when it's Jupiterian or even Neptune, see, in Pisces, no less. What's that going to bring about? Well, a lot more clarity. There's crystal clarity coming in with the way that Jupiter is going backwards in Pisces. It's a very spiritual, sobering time for a lot of the spiritual people, because, for the whole organism, we're learning about narcissism, right? That can be, we've heard it being, that it's in the Bible, in fact, and that's the classic spiritual warfare happening. I mean, what is it really? I've talked some pretty trippy stuff. I think that I keep queuing on it in many different ways to talk about how there's fairy tales surrounding some common problem that's going on with the organism that is just the potential to become human, and that whole potential, that's where the stories are coming from. Like, is it even really able to emerge out of the muckety muck? What has hijacked it? Is it religion? Is religion really helping? If it was, what happened to it? Because we see more of an education system, and that certainly isn't happening. I mean, we want to get back to the garden already, and let's ask a politician over there, and it's like, out of fucking mushroom cloud Yay! I hope it was a H-bomb. It's not that, see, by that time, I mean, maybe if it was an H-bomb, it means that benevolence is trying to help us. It's gotten too out of whack, and you have to mulch it out. Talk about gardening, pardon me. Did you see my last video, how amazing it would be? It's in the same shirt, by the way. I put it way over there on the 18th, and I'm going to go backwards on the teams, and how amazing it would be if we started the money-making trend. And, it just depends on, I guess it's that attention-getting thing. But really, don't you think that there's a use for SM? See, somebody like me can figure it out if I get enough privacy and enough quiet space to hit the algorithm of what the fucking purpose is for YouTube and any SM. Because, sorry, about my intensity, but it's like this. It's we need to get the show on the road here. There's something that is making of no use out of pretty much everything, and it's looking like that we can't find a rhyme or reason for anything, and that's just not the truth. That's not how that any of the universe works, to tell you the truth. It's probably like this place is quarantined off because people do not know that they should obligate themselves to turning themselves on, right, as apertures, and then hitting the truth to the point of feeling what that's like, because there's all kinds of we know what it sounds like intellectually, conceptually. They say truth sets you free, stuff like that. But I say it causes buoyancy. It's what heals, of course. Any healer knows, and it's a feeling, right? And it's not always pleasant, right? When you start dialing in on a truth, you don't see. Ultimately, if you're doing it right, you do not see. It's peeling an onion that comes to the blame thing sometimes, especially with the way that we try to heal ourselves and we start to blame other people, even our mothers and fathers or whatever, the past especially. See, the main thing is to know the nature of the mind, the way that it wants to cling on to a memory, and that's your limitation right there. And you have to be careful of that trick where it's going to hold on to things and say, no, this is definitely happening, it's me. And see, now I'm kind of just let's get back to the astrology that I have in my mind already. I know what's going on here. Um, for the Martian person, it's just get plenty of rest. We have done enough. There is that too. See, that's where humanity is. It's like, boy, humans, can you figure that the more that you try to smooth things out by doing things, and particularly like you think you're going to relax by going on, even on a vacation. I mean, that could prove to be the most unrelaxing time for a lot of reasons, because of that factor. Okay, let's talk about Mars. Is your physical world, and then Mercury. See, it makes me want to talk about. I think I talked about it once before. The Mercury aspected people, the ones that are born with like a square or an opposition or a conjunction, but particularly the square, those are freak accident people. They are definitely having a trouble with aligning their minds into the physical world and vice versa. It's kind of blindsiding, in fact. It's very interesting to think of that because that's how they do get into accidents. And want to talk about narcissists? We are talking about narcissists, especially if you want to talk about Mars being related to that. But no, well, I would say Mercury is kind of the sneaky narcissist because that's the mind over there that thinks it's more intelligent than a physical experience. And that's where Mars and Gemini, I think it needs to be tempered down with the Jupiter and the Venus, the Saturn square. Might be proved to be very beneficial for what Saturn is doing anyway inside of the house of Pisces or the sign of Pisces is it's working on all of our subconscious wiring that does have to do with the Piscean age of the whatever the religious efforts are. I mean, there is something genuine there, right? And we are profoundly, I mean, boy, whether we know it like it or not, we are going back into Christ consciousness. Like we just, it's like no duh or something. And but at the same time, no, we're seeing, yeah, there's a counteraction to that. You know, of course, they would say that doesn't even exist and kill the Christians or something, and then, but we don't even know who those people are really. I mean, they Christ was never claimed to be a Christian. I mean, Jesus never claimed to be a Christian. That was right because that's a different language or something, and but they're trying to say something, right? So let's not get too huffy puffy, you know. But see, there's where we are getting more scientific to try and because it doesn't have to be always just it's not we can get away from the confusion if we just look at what's really here and what we're dealing with. And I didn't want to talk about this at all, but I guess that's what we need to talk about, because slowly but surely we're going to inch up on all of this stuff. See, I was trying to talk about Neptune, very sneaky over there in the late degree of Pisces, going backwards. So it means it's kind of being gravitational towards the T square that's in the mutable. It's going to be it's like a cardinal, I mean a mutable grand cross with there being involved Gemini. No, all we need is Sagittarius, and that's not there. So, but there's a T square. There is a T square happening. It's called a T square with, it would be Gemini, Virgo, and then opposite is Pisces there, and so Gemini is on that T squared out there, and it's a funky time. It's the education that needs to come out through communications that can only become through our ability to communicate. Fortunately, we do have the Mercury just giving a little kiss to Virgo, but it goes back into Leo. But that's good because it's intense with it having it conjunct Venus in Virgo, which is like I was trying to explain, is a crew of the real analysts, white jacket people doing the real scrutiny and ability to look into things. So on a collective scale, well, it's safe to say that the part of the organism that tries to be real, which would be the first responders, Aries, is is having to take a break. They need to know that stay still. Um, as impatient as we are, and as frustrating as that might be, because we have been subdued and like our hands are tied for a long time now. Just describing the whole of the entire zodiacal people that are being bombarded by the planetary thing, mainly the Pluto. The way that they have to wake up, and the way that they might be not waking up, and there's always like the last one to know, and we can only move as fast as that person, the slowest scientist or something like that. And so, trying to look at my glasses now, is it possible? Yes. What was I going to look at? I just wanted to see when Mercury went officially back into Leo. It's not, it's going to try to communicate something very vigorously. I don't know if you've noticed. No, I did. It's like, and it's also suggesting, you have a lot of clearing out to do. You can do things a lot through communications. That's the whole point of communicating, is to clear the air. And yeah, so here we are, it's past the point. Okay, so yeah, Mercury is going to be in Virgo until the 15th. And right about then, there's this square that's developing between well, it's right there. It's the T-square. It includes Saturn, Venus in Virgo, and the two planets conjunct in Gemini there, Mars and Jupiter. It's stress on money. There's an aggressive male uh, tinge, but kind of more very mercurial. Like I was warning, that's there's a worry about being able to really bring things into fruition rather than to imagine it and be purely mental about it and be like harebrained. Like, I've known people with Mars and Gemini, they are very good at resourcing information and collecting things. And if there is an Aries planet that's ruled there, like if it's an Aries sun, then they can physically bring into through their actions, and they're very busy. The Mars and which is Aries, but it's Gemini. They are doing the short trips. I'm kind of antsy, but for me, you have to see what it aspects. It does a positive thing with my moon, and I'm going to continue to express myself and get worthy of. If I do get my PayPal, and I don't know how to work that. Really, I'm going to be doing it probably. Oh God, I didn't do it this weekend. This week, I was supposed to do it. See, I'm being distracted. See, there's people in my life, just one. Boy, that's unfortunate. Not good. That doesn't understand that I'm an ultra sensitive, and I didn't. I guess I'm trying to use that as an excuse for just saying, it's hard for me to integrate myself into the world, anything really. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm not ambitious to get right in there and start spinning the wheels and blowing all the whistles and hitting all the bells or doing the chutes and ladders even. I happen to have a natural knack, and this is none of anybody's business, but this is what I will include in my little Patreon like view, like somebody suggested. It's why don't I do videos more personal or interesting, I guess maybe condensed versions of something, um, and charge money for it. This would trip me out if 20 people sent me just $10. Babes, that's $2,000. I don't know. I just keep tripping out on that. Excuse me, but it's like, God, why can't this happen for us? I would buy an acoustic guitar and start singing and dancing. Yay, fucking hey, right? But no, yes, I need more focus. I need balance. I want to know if that's really the problem. Do you need money, Shauna, or do you need to straighten out your love life? Who here thinks that those two are closely correlated? I know, see, I would add in my autobiography, I might have tried to talk about it here. There's some videos up ahead I'm probably going to um, splice or edit really heavily or not even have. It just keeps jumping forward if you notice, because I'm saying some personal things, but um, was going to say some personal thing. But thanks for watching. I was trying to tell you about how I know my videos are getting kind of pathetic, I think. I think I am still doing okay with making a profound point. But my life is getting like there's a distraction happening that I don't know what to think about it. I would love to be able to work on myself enough to take the blame for everything, right? But I don't even think that's the point. See, that's the thing. It's like you can get dragged into a bunch of other stuff with some people, and then you start blaming yourself, and it's just an awful thing. I would like to stop all the entanglement, and does anybody know how to enjoy themselves every once in a while? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of anything sometimes after a while, right? And because if it does start to get difficult or it feels like too much confusion, stop. You're doing something wrong. Maybe that's not even what you're supposed to be doing, right? Getting back to playing the guitar, because I find out that, boy, people actually did send $10, and it wasn't just 200 people, it was 400 people, and I'm like, whoa. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching these videos. I'm going to try to enjoy what's coming up throughout the next August list here. This is made on August 9th, but I've posted some clear up to the 18th, I think, and I'll continue to do that. And it's interesting because by that time that you watch them, I probably won't be feeling it all the same way. It's from one day to the next, right? And that's how weird my life is. And I would love to get to be able to create a balance. And that's what I see. I was trying to explain and I couldn't even explain it. But I feel like I'm on the verge of being able to make who I am just really my ability to pump out this material at the rate I do. It's already here to work for me. God, I keep hanging up here. Uh, I could do it. But see, I'm at this. I don't know anything about the electronics and how to do it. I might get snagged up with that. So it's like, and I'm exhausted. I'm trying to tell you, you can correlate it. I was trying to tell you about Neptune. I mean, Pluto is going to be messing with my mind, and I am feeling very spent. I've been fighting. I'm realizing I'm fighting something that can care less that I'm fighting about it or for it. It actually just um, wants to drain my energy, right? That's an energy vampire. You know, some people live that way. They just create that atmosphere, and that's normal for them. They think, no, now we're in business or something. Is like, no, no. What I'm saying, what Abraham Hicks says, if you really want something, and see, you know, I don't know, those hard workers, those people that work hard, um, that's something that you're doing because you're distracting yourself in a certain way. I can get into it. I know I'm talking about something. It's just you found something to distract yourself in a very intricate way, not just for money. I mean, that's a convenience. Ma'am, if you really look at what's behind that, it's a fallback system. I tried to tell you. It's like, yeah, okay, so some people are so unavailable to reality and the truth, say, and how to get better at anything, um, that now I don't mean it. See, because otherwise you become an inventor and you don't have such the hard time making money. What you're having a hard time with is something different, like maybe to stop people with money from trying to stop you with your money, right? I mean, it becomes kind of like that. Ask Tesla or anybody else. It's like it's not about money after a while because you are in a flow that automatically collects it now. But can you fight back enough against the ones that press the money meant to make sure that you get kind of you're just monitored and like, oh, that's a great idea, let me take that, and oh, uh-huh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, it's obvious, you know, more and more you contemplate it, the way that that works, and then you know how that all the wars are owned by the same ones. They're just creating this amazing show for, boy, how many people begin to really believe their positions of power, but it's there, and even they believe that they're being having to fight for or against or create a blockade or whatever with weaponry and financing and the whole big giant national scene where, you know, you don't know it, but all major war grounds, like, you wonder what they're testing in Ukraine and Russia, but it's 100%. If you haven't noticed, the what they can do with anything and everything. We're talking about the EMF waves down to bombarding, yes, the population, the the way that they can get people reliant on it, start to monitor. Every bit of that is being experimented to the nth degree there, and then from that war ground, it's softly implemented to the rest of the world how that they would achieve whatever it is that they achieved. And you bet those satellites releasing up there they're there to help us. Yeah. Imagine that, kids, though. See, I have 415 subscribers, and if they all sent me, I like fantasizing about this, and this is a trip. I think it's just fucking cool. Yeah, what if all 415 subscribers sent me $10? Let's just say that. We already know it's 4,000, but let's get interesting. $4,150. That's a lot of money. Doesn't it make you go, now we're getting interested now. So if 415 people sent me $60 each, like if I said this video, and I want to, it's important to give your autobiography out and try to just tell a decent story about something that makes people think. I don't know, but see, okay, is $60 too much? So what if it was like, okay, instead $16, 415 people, I charge $16 to come into one video, and they all go for it. Boy, that's a lot of money. I would love to give 640 back to some other project on here. Just say, who needs it? You know, are they doing the same thing? Do you have your PayPal set up? I'm ready to um, give it to the next person that pipes up within the next 20 minutes on my live thing. See, that could kind of happen. And I promise you I won't stop being so irritated that I start telling stories about what's really going on. I hope you liked the story that I told tonight, and the main point is beware of just let people be as ugly as they can be. I guess not really. I'm afraid of that getting on me. You know, there's people that can do spells and stuff, and you want to watch out. I'm pretty sure I'm kind of handling that, and the thing is they're handling the fact that it doesn't really work on me, not very well, not really. See, I can take my glasses off, and now boom, that spell will not get in properly. I don't know. Have a nice day.